Alright guys, so today's video we're checking out the brand new Corsair HS80 RGB wireless gaming headset. Now for me it's always fun to go back and check out gaming headsets because honestly this channel wouldn't exist if it weren't for gaming headsets. That's kind of how I started, and now we're at a point where there's just so many different ones from so many different companies that it's kind of hard to find which ones stand out and what makes them special. So we're going to check out these HS80 RGB wireless, see what makes these stand out, and see why they're priced at $150. Now, as far as what all systems they work on, it says that it works for the PS4, PS5, your PC, and your Mac. So you can't use this on Xbox, but that's kind of to be expected because Xbox is kind of specific about what headsets they let them work with, especially when it comes to wireless use. Now, the two different ways that you are able to use these, you actually can use them wired, but the wired mode would be with a USB-C to USB-A cable. Now, the USB-C end is what plugs into the actual headset, and then you have your regular USB to plug into your computer. And then as far as using them wireless, it does come with a 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle. Now, it is using what Corsair is labeling their slipstream technology, which is basically saying you're using that 2.4 gigahertz, you're not going to experience any kind of lag, and that's the advantage to using these type of headsets over Bluetooth. Now, these do have 24-bit audio support, so if you're looking for a gaming headset to also be able to take advantage of more high-res audio files, if you're somebody that really likes to enjoy your music, but you don't want a bunch of different headsets or headphones, you can take advantage of that. And this pair also has Dolby Atmos spatial audio support while you're using these on PC as well. You just have to download Dolby's app, and within that app, it also has some different EQ options, and it just kind of opens up the sound more, and it makes it a little more enjoyable if you're going to use these obviously with gaming, but with movies and with music it's kind of hit or miss. I'm not the biggest fan of using any kind of surround sound on headsets when it comes to listening to music, so I mainly just kind of turn this off and just use it the normal way. You also want to make sure to go ahead and download Corsair's IQ app, and the reason I say that is this headset does have RGB lighting, which you can customize, but there's also some EQ options in there, and it just allows you again to just have a little bit more flexibility while using these. So definitely make sure to download the app. And then as far as the battery life on this headset, it says that you're going to get around 20 hours. Now that kind of depends on if you're going to have the volume turned all the way up, if you're going to be using the microphone, but again, just kind of expect to get around 20 hours total. Now, as far as the actual design of the headset itself, I kind of found this interesting because they're labeling this as the HS80, so you would think it just kind of falls in line with their HS lineup, but really it doesn't look like any of those. It mainly looks like the Corsair Void lineup because it has this unique design on the ear cups. The build quality is really nice though. They used a machined aluminum, so it has a very sturdy build, but it's still feels really light. The headband itself actually kind of has like a smooth silicone material. Now I do like the way that it feels, but I don't like the fact that it kind of picks up fingerprints very easily. And everything on here is actually pretty minimal. You can see that Corsair is just kind of spelled out there in a simple font, and then you can see their logos on both ear cups. And this is where the RGB lighting is located. And another thing that this headset kind of looks like, or at least reminds me of, are the SteelSeries set where you have this floating headband. This to me is very comfortable. You don't find yourself having to adjust your headset as much. You're really just putting it on and then just kind of going from there. Now, as far as the ear cups they decided to use, they went with a fabric material, and companies mainly go with this because it's a material that allows you to have a little bit more breathability than the protein or fake leather that they put on other headsets. So this is a headset you can wear for a longer period of time. You don't have to worry about sweating as much. The headset does not fold inward, but the ear cups do swivel inwards. And as far as any inputs or controls and the microphone, everything is located on the left ear cup. You have your power button. You also have your volume wheel, which doubles as a slider to kind of switch between different EQ options that you save into the headset. You have your USB-C input, and then around on the front, you have your microphone. Now, this is not a detachable microphone. It's just one of those that you fold hold up, which then mutes your microphone. One thing that Corsair is claiming is that the microphone is a broadcast grade omnidirectional mic. A lot of companies claim this, but then when you test them or compare them to other headsets, there's usually not much difference over one or the other. Through testing these, I was actually very surprised at how it sounded in both wireless and wired mode, and I really do think the quality is pretty close to broadcast quality. So if you're looking for a headset to use for like Twitch streaming or anything like that, this might be a pair that checks that box. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. All right, guys, so here is a mic test of the Corsair HS80 RGB wireless in wireless mode. That way you can hear what it would sound like if you were going to be gaming wirelessly, or you're going to use these for Zoom calls or anything like that. And I think for a wireless headset, this is pretty impressive. So here is the mic test using the HS80 RGB wireless in wired mode. I did have to move a little bit closer to the computer because this is one of the disadvantages of using a headset wired, because you don't have as much freedom. You have to stay within a certain distance, but I think most people are going to be more than happy with the quality of this microphone. So now let's talk about the sound, because the sound on these obviously can be changed in a bunch of different ways because there are different EQ options. For me personally, I liked listening to music in the bass boost mode because I feel like the default mode right out of the box is more geared towards pushing your mids and your treble forward, which I do understand because if you're gaming, you want to be able to hear footsteps, you want to be able to hear dialogue. It's obviously good to be able to feel bass, but you don't want a headset to just drown out the things that you really need to hear. And this headset does an incredible job with that. Now, throughout all the testing with different games, I felt like the Dolby Atmos spatial audio really does affect this headset quite a bit. In fact, it opens them up where everything kind of sounds realistic. I know that most surround sound headsets is kind of gimmicky. Obviously, you can't get 5 speakers or 7 speakers crammed into these headsets, but it's using a 50mm driver. It is a very powerful driver. Like I said, if you're going to use this in bass boost mode, you can definitely tell there's some punch to this headset. I would compare this a lot to the Razer Black Shark wireless headset that came out. The sound of these headsets have come such a long way from what gaming headsets used to be. Gaming headsets used to mainly focus on bass. They were always overly boomy and bloated because they just wanted you to feel those explosions. What's more important is hearing those little things, hearing footsteps or hearing, leaves rustling over there because somebody may be over there, and being able to hear the people that you're talking with. And this headset does an incredible job at that. I was really impressed with how realistic it sounded. So my overall opinion when it comes to audio quality is it's fantastic, but I've kind of always felt that way about Corsair's lineup. I liked the Void lineup, but I really have been more of a fan of the HS lineup. I just feel like they kind of give you more of a studio sound, and I always like to have headsets that I could also double as using for listening to music as well. And I honestly love having a wireless headset because I can have them on, walk around the studio, do different things that I need to do, and then I don't have to worry about a cable. And then also if I'm going to use them to maybe watch a movie or a baseball game while I'm doing things in the studio, I also don't have to worry about lag because of the USB dongle. As far as any cons that I had with this headset, I don't like that the mic is not removable. One thing about the design I'm not a huge fan of, I'm never a fan of being able to see an exposed cable on the headband. I always feel like something can catch it or cut it, and then your headset is not usable because that's what's transferring the audio over from one side to the other. That is kind of minor complaints, but I don't have any complaints when it comes to the audio, mainly because there's just so many different ways that you can customize it. If you're going to use their settings that's already in Corsair's software, you can do that and just load them into the headset, but it just opens up more possibilities because using the Dolby Atmos app on your PC just gives you a lot more control, and it gives you more EQ options, and it just makes this a pretty versatile headset overall. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Corsair HS80 RGB wireless. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.